Hey guys, my name is leilaniforgod and I'm back with another video. So in this video, I wanted to tell you guys about a dream that I had yesterday. And it was a dream that I was with God and I was in His presence and we were moving really fast in some type of spacecraft. And I was able to see with X-ray vision through buildings, through houses, through structures. I was able to see people through the distance that we were at. I was able to see people congregating and going about their day, talking to their friends and family, going to work, shopping. I was able to see everything from a very high sky view. And as I'm moving around with God at a very fast pace, covering a lot of I don't want to say ground because we were in the air, in the sky, but moving so quickly that I could see large amounts of people on the ground at one time. Now, in these crowds of people, I noticed only 2 or 3 people out of thousands were giving off this beautiful golden glow. Now, the only time that I've seen something like this has been in video games, where if your character collects like gold coins or gold bars or whatever, they will give off this like bling, this like golden kind of fairy dust will kind of pop out of them. And that's how very few people looked from the distance that I was at. The people who were not giving off the golden glow, they were kind of bent over. Their clothing was dark. You know, they looked dark brown, dark gray, like dusty, old, just not fresh, new, energized, or excited. And I noticed that the people who were giving off the golden glow, they were kind of upright, and I could tell by their posture and by the way that they were interacting with the people around them that they were righteous, and that the majority of people, the thousands of people around them, were careless. They really didn't care much about their presentation, their posture, or their clothing. They looked, kind of old and dusty, And I realized in the dream that I was in the presence of God. I realized in the dream that God was showing me or giving me the X-ray vision to see not only through buildings and structures, but to see through people and to see which people God had set apart as His people. Okay? God does not call us to be perfect, but He does call us to be holy, which means set apart, to be in this world but not of this world, to do unto others as we will have them do unto us, because we will all reap what we sow, right? And when I woke up from this dream, I was reminded, it just came to mind for me, different scriptures just came to my memory, like about the wheat being separated from the tares. Now, wheat, before it is harvested, it goes from green to golden brown at the time that it's harvested. And the tares are the parts that's thrown away, that's not for consumption, right? And so I thought it was interesting that the scripture talks about God separating the wheat from the tares, and people were giving off this golden kind of aura, this golden kind of glow from the inside of them, was like popping out of them, from such a great distance. And I was realizing that this is the meaning behind something I've learned since I was a little kid going to Sunday school. God knows your heart, right? So God can see right through us, through our clothes, through our skin and bones, and can see the condition, the quality of our soul from far, far, far away. And these people who were giving off this golden glow, it was obvious that they were righteous. It's obvious that these are people who lived by God's laws, statutes, and commandments. People who were treating people the way that they wanted to be treated. People who were not influenced by the negativity of the culture and the people around them. And I want to say there was only 2 or 3 people per 10,000 or more thousands of people that were able to give off this golden glow. Now, if you check out my other dreams on my channel, my first video, my rapture dream, one of my early videos, I talked about a dream I had about God's wrath. I also recently shared a couple of months ago a dream that I had where God said, I am here to collect the house of Israel, clean it up. More Gentiles than Israelites will make it into the kingdom of heaven. People don't understand that the kingdom of heaven is where God dwells. That's God's house. That's where he lives. God does not dwell in unclean places. And the condition that we are in as humans on the planet Earth is very unclean in our minds, in our bodies, and in our spirits. And all of these things add up to the condition of our eternal soul and where our soul is going to reside after our body passes away. And this is why it's so important to observe the commandments, to do as God has called us to do in order to be holy and set apart. Because if you're not in the habit of being righteous, when God comes to collect, he's going to be able to see right through you. This is why my channel is about moving barriers and obstacles out of your way. That's why I expose people. That's why I talk about having a good, clean diet. That's why I talk about doing self-inventory. Work on yourself to uproot your own bad, negative behaviors. We can't blame everything on the devil. All the devil can do is influence us. We make our own choices, and everyone's responsible for their own choices. You have to have a personal relationship with God. But like scripture says, God does not dwell in unclean places. So you have to clean it up on every level to be receptive to the Creator. Or else you're not going to make it into his house. If you don't know God, how are you going to make it into his house, which is the kingdom of heaven? It behooves all of us to keep working on ourselves to be as righteous as we can possibly be, so that when the time comes for God to collect his people, you will already be set up, okay? It's like life on earth is like practice, dress rehearsal for where your soul is going to go when you die. Have you practiced being evil and wicked? Or have you practiced being righteous and seeking after your Creator, the Most High God, who created you and created everything else? God will not be deceived by people at the last minute all of a sudden want to say, oh God, I'm so sorry, I lived a life of sin, please take me. No, this is a build-up. Something you have to build up is a relationship with the Creator, because he knows what's on your heart. Now, if you look at the stories of the Great Flood in Sodom and Gomorrah, where God destroyed masses of people in the Great Flood, he destroyed all but 8 people. In the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, which he destroyed, only 3 people were spared. If you go back and read those stories and really understand the reason why God destroyed the world in the Great Flood and those cities in Sodom and Gomorrah, it wasn't just for 1 or 2 reasons. I listen to some pastors preach on YouTube because I like to listen to sermons and I like to listen to people explain the Bible. Sometimes I disagree, but I listen for my own edification, right? And I noticed that a lot of pastors focus on, they say, well, the reason why God destroyed the world in a great flood was really because of the influence of the fallen angels who turned their backs on God, procreated with women on earth. They had giants, and God needed to wipe out the giants. So that's why he flooded the world. Or the reason why God burned down Sodom and Gomorrah and all of their inhabitants is because the gay men were trying to basically, have intercourse with the angels. And they try to blame Sodom and Gomorrah strictly on homosexuality. That's not the full story. It's not only because of the fallen angels and their offspring that were giants that are called Nephilim. It's not only because of homosexuality. The collective sin of all of the human beings in those areas and on the planet Earth have become so evil and wicked in their heart, in their minds, in their spirit, and in their actions is what led God to destroy them all. God said he would not have destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah if he could find 10 righteous people. So go back and read those stories. What really was the state of humanity at the time of the Great Flood? What really was the state of the society at the time of God destroying Sodom and Gomorrah? It's the wickedness of the human heart. People have become so wicked. And nowadays, with the rise of mass media, television, movies, and the internet, social media, more influence of negativity is present than positive influence. And this is how negativity is being spread throughout the world now, through mass media. We watch all these TV shows, we watch all these movies, we watch people acting a fool on social media, and we think it's entertainment. But slowly but surely, people are corrupted by this entertainment, especially the youth, because they don't know any better. Once you get a little bit older, you start to realize television, movies, social media crap, it's not that serious to you anymore. But as a young person who does not have any discernment, they start to pick up those ways of being. And adults pick up those ways of being. Most entertainment now is negativity. It's people hurting themselves doing these crazy social media challenges. It's television shows that's all about murder, violence, robbing people. People are getting shot and banks are getting robbed and innocent people are being murdered and stuff in these video games. Like, what has become entertainment is the type of negativity that influences people to then become negative, bad behaving people, because bad things are being glorified as good, and then the good positive characters in television shows and social media and movies, those characters are perceived as corny. Nobody wants to be like the nerd character. Everybody wants to be the thug, the bank heist robber, the criminal, right? And so this is the type of brainwashing and programming that people are up against, adults and children. And then once that became a source of entertainment, everything has to be so negative and everybody's into what's negative. Some of my favorite TV shows, horrible negativity, And it's like, at this point in my life, I avoid negativity as much as possible. But for many, many years, I was watching all the reality shows, all the TV shows, all the movies, without really thinking, how is this influencing me? How is this influencing my behavior? So I just want you guys to understand that the only thing that will stop God from destroying everything again is the righteous people. Righteous people. Once God removes his people from the planet Earth, it's only going to be negative people, which is the majority of people. And they're going to be selfish, greedy, violent, just like what we've seen in TV, movies, and social media, because that is what they've become comfortable with over a period of time. I made a video called "You Are What You Do." And this is the point that I was making. Whatever you do repeatedly over and over again, it becomes a part of your personality. And so we're so inundated with negativity, violence, sexual immorality, crime, drugs, stealing and robbing, all these gangster movies and gangster music. We're so inundated with that stuff that people think that's the way to be. But in the Bible, that's exactly what got everybody destroyed, because that is not the spirit that God has given us. It's the spirit that has become corrupted by the influence of the devil. But the influence is still a choice. Just because you were influenced to do wrong doesn't mean that you will not be held accountable for it on Judgment Day. And I did a video on Judgment Day as well, so you might want to check that out too. All right, guys, so I just wanted to share with you the dream that I had, give you a little breakdown, and remind you the only way to make it into the kingdom of heaven is to have a close and personal relationship with God. The only way to have a close and personal relationship with God, you got to clean it up. I have videos on eating clean. I have videos on doing self-inventory. How do you check yourself for your own negative behaviors, your own bad habits, your own negative mindset, whether it's towards yourself or towards other people. So my content is to help you identify where you are a part of the problem that's separating yourself from God. My videos where I expose other people, I'm showing you how other people are coming at you with false information that separates you from God. I'm telling you to clean up your life, mind, body, and soul. Remove all of the false prophets and liars who speak in God's name, but they are teaching people witchcraft and all sorts of heresy that actually will not bring you closer to God. All of my content is about how to get closer to God, what you need to do, what you need to stop doing, and what you need to begin doing to make your relationship with God closer and closer and closer, so that you won't have to worry about what's going to happen when you die. All right, guys? So welcome to my new subscribers. Please check out my older content because it's all stepping stones. One thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that. Leave me comments, let me know what you think about this video. And if you have ideas for content that you want me to cover in the future, I'll be happy to do it. And I'll be back shortly with some more content for you guys. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed.